it's your girl Jaymie and your favorite astrologer here to talk about how to use Sun and Pisces energy and how control in this area of your life can actually be what's holding you back. So I have some recommendations on how you can use this energy and take advantage of it, whether you have Sun natally in your Pisces, which I do. Hey, go me, it's my birthday month. Or if you have Sun in Pisces just going on right now. Regardless of where Sun is in your Sun natally in your chart, the Sun progresses, the Sun goes into Pisces every year, so it's a great way to use this energy whenever it has this placement, because the Sun represents our confidence. It's about truth energy, it's about father figure, it's about our life force energy. It's a lot of these different things that you can really use. It's the planet that represents consistency, and it's a very generous, life-giving, optimistic planet, and Pisces is the most spiritual sign. And so wherever Pisces is in your chart, because it's the most spiritual sign, it's the last sign, it's a mutable sign, and it belongs to the last house, which is a cadent house. The Pisces sign is the laziest out of all of the houses, and this isn't a negative thing. This actually is beneficial. We all have benefits wherever the placements are, and when we're lazy, we're naturally more receptive. We're not doing so much that we're not being present, that we're not noticing certain things, so don't see it as a bad thing. Just working with that energy is going to be really powerful. And because Pisces is a very accepting, trusting, spiritual sign, it's less of this world. Rather than trying to participate and control things, the best way to use wherever Pisces is in your chart, even if you don't have your Sun here, is to learn to surrender and to trust, because control is actually what holds you back. Because Pisces is represented by a fish that can't speak, it doesn't have arms to protect itself, and it doesn't have legs to run away. But that's not necessarily a bad thing, because Pisces is a sign of isolation. It's not that you can't interact with other people, it's not that you don't, but it's designed to kind of like be sort of recluse, be in its own space. And fish are swimming along in the ocean and stuff like that, and they just trust, and it's the waves that really kind of like move it along and stuff, because that's what it's meant to. Imagine if a fish tried to sit there and like fight the waves of the water, right? Like it doesn't make sense. And that's something that a lot of us, we tend to do out of instinct. So instead of doing this, in order to work with this energy wherever Pisces is in your chart, the house that tells you the area of your life, this is a good time to learn to kind of explore, how can I trust a little bit more? And you can choose specific areas of your life where you make this happen. So for example, if you, a good way to use this energy is as a way to boost your confidence. You can explore and connect with spirituality more. Now, not everyone connects with spirituality and stuff, so it's not something that you have to necessarily actively engage in. It can honestly even be just studying spirituality and the philosophy and the wisdom and the lessons behind it. I'm personally not the most religious person. I'm much more spiritual, and not everyone is very spiritual, but even just studying it and stuff, there are lessons there. It can be an educational experience, especially with Mercury in Aquarius right now. That's a very cerebral placement for our mindset to be at. This is a good time to kind of study and explore spirituality. For those of you guys who live in LA, a great way to use this energy is, I really love Lake Shrine. It's this beautiful meditative place, and I think it's on the cusp of Santa Monica or Pacific Palisade, where it's a beautiful lake, and there are these tombstones, and each tombstone talks about some of the major religion in a very inclusive, like accepting sort of a way. This is a great way to use that energy, and it's really about engaging in anything that really helps to give you confidence, whatever that looks like. And this could also be engaging in charity organizations. It could be meditation. It could be going to the ocean. Pisces rules the ocean. So it's a lot of these different things. It's about trusting your intuition. These are things that can be extremely beneficial. And also a great way to use this energy is to practice forgiveness, compassion, understanding, and wisdom, because these are the things that Pisces represents. And so if there's an area of your life that you've had a hard time sort of accepting, or maybe an area of your life where you've been kind of resistant and really rigid and stuff, this placement right now will make it easier for you to take the action that allow you to kind of work through that. Like, unfortunately, you know, life happens, shit happens, and I think we've all experienced shady, fucked up things that's happened to us. And it's not that, I'm not saying that you have to forgive what someone has done, and you know, that's a personal choice on your end. But I think that there is a level of, I think it's not so much the heaviness that can come with what's attached with the meaning and idea of forgiveness, but what it's supposed to offer you. Like, if someone has caused you harm, to hang on to that anger and stuff, like, it can weigh at you. And I mean, there's a sacredness to anger too, so I'm not saying like try to let that go and feel bad if you're not ready for that. But this is more to say that, like, if for whatever reason you felt bad about it and you had a hard time letting it go, or you blamed yourself in some way, it could be apologizing to yourself for whatever you believed in. Or if someone has harmed you in some way and it has affected your life force energy, it's depleted your confidence in some way, this is a way where you can give yourself permission and not feel bad about that about yourself, and explore ways that you can boost that for yourself. It's really it's this combination of like self-focus, because that's what the sun is about in Pisces, which is things outside of us. So you want to find that balance and think about things that have happened to you. How can you allow it to, how can you find some optimism, some confidence from certain things that may have happened to you that weren't necessarily the best, for example. Some other ways that you can use this energy is getting a sense of direction and insight on being a leader. If you have either a hard time being a leader, in being, maybe you're really strict and stuff, and you want to learn to be more accepting, more adaptable, more accommodating, you want to practice more compassion, this can be a really good time that you're able to kind of explore that. And it doesn't mean that you have to interact with other people, especially if it's something you're not comfortable with. But using, again, the Mercury and Aquarius energy, I would really recommend writing down things like, what are some things that you want to strengthen your confidence on? What are some areas that you want to take action on in your life? What are some areas where you want to soften your energy, practice forgiveness? What kind of a leader do you want to be? And explore those things, because right now, with this placement, wanting to do those things, there's going to be more of an allowance and more of a support in the transits in order to help you through this. So that's a good way to work with that energy. If you have some sort of inquiry about the kind of leader that you want to be, this can be a time where you just intuitively get that information. It's not going to be the kind of thing where it's not like, you know, Sun in Virgo, where you're going to be able to write like a bullet point, a PowerPoint, and all of these details and stuff. But you can just get the intuition. It can come to you through prayer, through meditation, through trusting. It can be very esoteric. It could even be through swimming, you know, something where it's not necessarily the most obvious and direct sort of a way, because Pisces is an elusive sign. It's a chameleon, it's a water sign, it's not the most direct. You may find that, for example, if you want to get some ideas and you feel like you're very like bombarded with the ideas of other people and other people's energy, and it's really hard for you to kind of get a sense of your own ideas, a great way to use this energy would be, for example, to go to float therapy, where you're kind of cocooned in warm water in a dark space, and it's supposed to resemble being back in the womb. And so in that space, and you're meditating and you're floating in the water, you might have a lot of ideas that come to you. And it's a good way to physically practice kind of just being surrendering and trusting, because there's enough salt in the water that it allows you to float. So these are some ways that you can use that energy and get some an idea on what kind of a leader you want to be, or as a leader, if you want to learn to be more charitable, if you want to collaborate in business projects and events where some of the proceeds of the money that you get go to a certain charity organization, or if you want to take action on something and you have a hard time getting started, getting motivated, this is something that could be a thing, particularly if you have Sun in Pisces, because the Sun is very assertive, but it's a fixed sign. So it's like, it needs the right motivation to get, I mean, the Sun isn't a fixed sign, but the Sun rules a Leo, and the Leo is a fixed sign. It kind of needs that right, like the motivation. In Pisces, being a water sign, in order for you to take action, this is a time where you're likely to like take action when you feel internally inspired. So if there is a charitable reason, if there is something that is a reason that's deeper, that goes beyond you, that's very helpful and humanitarian and compassionate and caring, this is going to be the thing that can really inspire you. It may be something that you do in isolation, on your own at first, and it may not be something that you do really assertively, really like intensely. This isn't like Aries energy where you just take action and you just go for it. It really does depend on different circumstances, but Pisces is a little bit of like a softer, more subdued energy. So when you're ready to take action, this is a time where find the deeper meaning for yourself. This is going to be something that really does help with sort of putting that together. There's also, let me think, confidence, being a leader, taking action. When it comes to like your life force energy, things that strengthen you, if you've been feeling kind of sluggish and stuff like that, this isn't exactly like a fitness placement per se, but it's about things that can give you life force energy. That can be the ocean, that could be swimming, that could be taking a bath, things like that. These are things that could really fortify you. So these are things that you can take a look at as well. Maybe soups can be really nourishing for you, although seasonally we're kind of shifting out of that. And so there's different ways that you can really kind of connect with this Sun in Pisces placement, and also considering what Pisces symbolizes. We're talking about compassion and spirituality and allowing, surrendering, trusting. A lot of times people really struggle with receiving, and so this is a good time to learn to take action in learning to receive so that you can experience the benefits of receiving. Now, I do want to say that Pisces does also rule deceptions, delusions, manipulation. So if your Sun here isn't well placed, if it has some challenging aspects, or the planetary rulers of Pisces, which are Jupiter and Neptune, don't have the best positioning, you do want to caution yourself. There is a possibility that you could be misled by spirituality, by charity organization. You know, there's a possibility of some sort of a manipulation that takes place. So it's not just about, oh, it's Sun in Pisces, it's all just great, you should just learn to trust. Like, you have to be mindful and selective about what it is that you trust, what it is that you are engaging in. And if it's not something that's beneficial, then obviously that's not going to work out. And I mean, I can't cover this in a generalized reading and stuff, but if you look back on your life and you realize, you know what, actually when it comes to religion, when it comes to spirituality, when it comes to the area where I have Pisces in my chart, I have been manipulated, I have been swindled, then that's something for you to work on. This might be something that would be helpful for you to work with an astrologer on, to get specific insights on why is this happening, what is the lesson, what are some ways that I can mitigate this energy when these things happen, you know, when you're not seeing things clearly because of rose-colored glasses or whatever. What are some ways that I can stabilize this energy and like pretty much turn on the part of my chart that's like the bullshit detector? We all have different ways that we can navigate our chart to get this clarity. That might be something that you want to take a look at. And if you do have these challenging aspects, it doesn't mean that you should stay away from things related to trusting, prayer, support, spirituality, religion. It just means that you have to learn to be more discerning, and that's part of your journey. Whenever we have these challenges, These challenges aren't here because it's trying to say you can't do this or you're going to get screwed over in this area of your life. It's saying this is something that you have to learn. This is something that you have to overcome. This is something that you have to understand and engage with or let go, redirect. So that's something to be aware of. And if you know that this is something that you do, if you have people that you trust, go to them, get insight from them, allow yourself to be trusted in a way that is ultimately supportive for you, that is ultimately nourishing for you. These are things that are going to be really valuable. But regardless, wherever Pisces is in your chart, this is an area where you get more benefit from not trying to exert as much control. Because Pisces is the most egoless sign. It's not about control. The archetype, the fish, doesn't have control because it's not meant to. And I know that sometimes when I bring this up, people are like, I love that you're saying that, but I just want to let you know, Pisces do have control. It does. It's not that it can't have control. It doesn't mean that it shouldn't have any control. I'm just saying that the more you learn to let go of control in this area of your life in a way that's healthy and beneficial and supportive, the more you're going to allow things to support you. We need to have this balance in our life where we need to learn to trust, we need to learn to receive support, and we also need to take action. And it's all about learning to harmonize that. For some people, this is about kind of gauging how much support to receive, how much is too much, how much is too little. Because there's value in receiving support, but it's important to not just like to take and not to just constantly receive, because if it's just one-sided and all we're doing is consuming, it's going to get stagnant. We need to move that energy through us as well. It's important to reciprocate, not just for ourselves so that we don't start hoarding stuff, but so that other people aren't feeling depleted as well. And examining that during this time is also a great way to kind of gauge that, because I know that for myself, I was like, in the beginning, I was like, I refused to receive. And then when I did, I think overdid it. And I was attracting people who didn't have the best of intentions when they were offering me things. And I didn't realize that because I didn't have a discernment, because I was new to receiving. So I was receiving from the wrong crowd. And I had to kind of recalibrate what that looks like. So this is a good time to kind of intuitively gauge what that looks like for you. And so there's so many ways that you can really use this energy. The sun is about truth. So this is the energy that you want to work with. You also want to get the support of Leo for that reason as well. So really think about what gives you confidence, what motivates you. Engage in those things and incorporate that into this placement, into this alignment. So this is basically to recap that I recommend whenever the sun is in Pisces, when it first starts going, especially in the beginning, Mercury is going to be in Aquarius, and you can use the combination of this energy. Mercury, the writing, the thinking, the mindset, with Aquarius, which is astrological, which is cerebral, and the sun is about finding the truth, taking action, and Pisces is about support, spirituality. The sun is about confidence. In order to get this, I would recommend taking advantage of this energy, writing things down, writing down what do you want confidence on? What kind of a leader do you want to be? What kind of a relationship do you want to have with the leaders? What kind of a relationship do you have with your father or father figure? What kind of a relationship you want to have, whether you do or you don't, just so that you develop a standard for yourself, so that at the very least, even if you can't have this, you have an idea at least of what you know you deserve. Write down what gives you life force energy, what motivates you. What are some areas of your life where you can learn to let go of control and learn to trust? And find ways on taking action in this area of your life, whether it's doing something creative, whether it's doing something in isolation, whether it's music, whether it's going to the ocean, whether it's meditating, whatever that looks like. I recommend that you explore that. And you can do this regularly if you want. You can do it occasionally, but the sun is the planet that represents consistency. That's often associated with Saturn, but the sun goes up every day, goes down every day. So it's a very consistent placement. So every day at a time when you feel the most energized, the most confident, maybe when it's the most sunny, not necessarily, this can be a good time that you can engage in this. And I would recommend just putting effort into it a little bit every day, a little bit every day. And if it's like, be honest and realistic about your budget, your schedule, your energetic bandwidth, and pick the thing that feels the best for you, that's sustainable, that works well for you. And if that's something you want to learn more about, keep an eye out for my videos, because I am going to start creating future videos where I give you guys insights on the best way for you to set goals and maintain habits that are going to be sustainable for you based on your exact your rising sign placements and things of that nature. So I hope this video helps you. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.